On the last of our St. Basil's Magdala-sponsored Rome seminars on feminine theology, the papal theologian Father Wojciech Giertyk mentioned in his homily at the opening Mass that the women in the Gospels are not called by Jesus. They come on their own, moved by their internal faith. The Canaanite woman is no exception. Her encounter with Jesus is not just incidental, not just the story of her child being healed, but one that contains the unfolding of many movements. There is the obvious movement of the emotions of a mother petitioning for her daughter's healing. But alongside, or more appropriately, undergirding the brief exchange between Jesus and herself, are movements of conversion, precipitated by the power of rhetoric. The first of these conversions is a collective one. Prior to this incident in Matthew's Gospel, Jesus is being asked by some Pharisees and scribes why his disciples break the tradition of the elders by not washing their hands before eating. Jesus, who is usually wont to answering a question with another question, asks them why they break the commandments of God, especially that of honoring father and mother, for the sake of their own traditions, which he emphasizes are hypocritical as they have nothing to do with God. The disciples then tell Jesus that what he said had offended the Pharisees, to which Jesus responds with a teaching about defilement, that it is not what goes into the mouth that defiles, but what comes out of it. This teaching establishes Jesus' principles of life, not to solely uphold to human tradition in the name of God, especially if it permits us to act without heart. The incident with the Canaanite woman that immediately follows steers the discourse further. Here is a woman who is affiliated with a people who worship false idols and are perceived as sinners to Israel, those who have, over centuries, frequently tempted, commanded, and persecuted the Jewish people away from their God to the practice of pantheistic beliefs. It is clear then that Jesus wants no discourse with a Canaanite. He's on his way to another region and he ignores her. But her persistence is maternal. Her daughter is sick and possessed. This is more important to her than any acceptable decorum. She shouts to pay attention, closing the gap, the distance between them. Because, like the story of the wicked judge and the nagging widow, persuasion by being annoying eventually gets God's attention and receives God's intervention. Emily Van Berkom and John Dalla Costa, in their joint presentation in Rome, spoke of audacity as a quality that women demonstrate to effect conversion, to right injustices, to embrace equality. There is little doubt that the Canaanite woman had audacity plus, from getting Jesus' attention, for calling for his mercy, and more so for not allowing Jesus the final word. Quick as a whip, she met him in his metaphor, stepped into his narrative, and refused what could be perceived as his defilement of her by responding with wit and alacrity. Perhaps Jesus was as much surprised by her response as he was another non-Jewish encounter with the Roman centurion requesting healing for his servant, because he responds similarly to the Canaanite woman by acknowledging her great faith, which is what it takes for the healing to occur. But something grander seems to have happened. The borders of separation had fallen away, the cultural divide, the tribal segregation. At that moment, we witness Jesus' humility to be guided by a woman. As with his mother at Cana, he had not intended for his healing mission to begin as it did. My time has not yet come. But Mary recognized it had, and he responded. This time, Jesus changed his course of ministry from not only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. This one responsive act to the pleas of the Canaanite woman brought about a conversion in him. The Messiah was not just sent for Israel, but the whole world. The woman was converted by acknowledging the divinity of a Jewish master and by recognizing Jesus' kinship in the legacy of David. And Jesus' openness to be changed, to break the boundaries of his own making, made possible a salvation available to all.